Hi, I'm Lloyd, and this is The Con Artist. And would you like to introduce yourself to everyone on the internet?
Hi, I'm Sarah Cooper, or Acid Intimacy on Facebook and on YouTube, though there's nothing on my channel, so don't do that.
Now, Sarah, you're quite prolific here in the Melbourne cosplay scene.
If you like.
Now, what got you into doing this cosplay thing?
Honestly, it was a Supanova about 5 years ago, and Tom Felton, who was Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter, he was here for a convention and I had to meet him. So I borrowed a friend's Slytherin robes, which were neon green, and borrowed that, and I just fell in love. I just fell in love with the scene and everything about it.
So you do all the cons now?
Yes, pretty much everything. Yeah.
And how is the con scene in Melbourne? Like, we've got the three big ones. You've got Supanova, you've got Oz Comic Con, and now AMC.
Yes.
Is there much of it?
And PAX.
And PAX as well. Is there much of a difference between each of them with sort of like how they're run or the feel of them, or are they all just blending into one?
They all have their own unique vibe. So Supernova's always been quite a big one. Oz Comic Con as well. It's always like you can sort of feel like the production value, if that makes any sense, and also
That does.
who the guests are, and like on the cosplay floor, it's all pretty much the same because we're just having fun and doing our own thing. But it always is nice if like the con's a little better organized. So yeah.
So how does and PAX as well? That's more computer games, isn't it?
Yes, that's all sorts of gaming. So that's tabletop and video games. So yeah.
Awesome. So how's Supernova been today? How's this Supernova compared to say last year or the year before?
Really good. Supernova's normally quite consistent, so you know what you're getting when you go to a Supernova. It's always got to be well organised and good.
And it seems to be expanding. Like last year and this year, they've spread it out. So there's one whole building for photos and autographs, and all the vendors are in here, and a lot more food trucks. Food trucks are becoming a big thing.
Yeah, and it's so good being able to have some choice of what you eat rather than just having to have chips. Though I just had chips. So.
Well, a couple of years ago, it was just the one place, and it was chips and calamari and maybe a dry burger, but now you can have so much more range of food.
And it's so great because some of it's nerd themed. Like I know they had a sausage place at some of them with a Theon, which was quite disturbing, but if you're into that.
Now, what cosplay are you going for today?
So this is Zarina from The Pirate Fairy, which is one of the Tinkerbell movies.
Well, there you go. Now, so do you make your own costumes, or do you gather from stores and combine it together, or?
I do both. So the corset I didn't make. The shirt I made with help from my friend at Piper & Kin, who is currently teaching me how to sew. She made the skirt for me, and I made the wig myself.
Awesome.
So, and some of my costumes are sourced. So I do Clara from Doctor Who, and she is 100% screen sourced. So everything I do for that is I found what they used on set, and I've got that myself. And then if I do something like this, I normally try and make as much as possible.
Yeah. So, like screen sourcing, that must be like Indiana Jones, like archaeology going to. Do you go to like the direct company and all that type of stuff?
Not always. I do a lot of. I'm lucky because a lot of research is already on the internet, so I don't have to do as much. But it's a lot of figuring out where they would have gone shopping. So for someone like Clara, she wears a lot of Topshop. And she wears a lot of H&M and things like that. So it's finding the brands that they probably would have gone to and just looking and hunting until you find the right thing. Yeah, so a lot of fun.
And is there a lot of help online, as in you're very supportive of one another to
Yes,
put it together?
Everyone works together. You're all trying to, you make a good costume and then you help someone else make a better costume, and then we're all stepping on each other's shoulders to all be the best we can be.
Is it a faux pas to wear the same cosplay in the same year at a different con, or?
I don't think so. Honestly, I know some people do see it that way, but for me, if I've put the effort into making a costume and I've spent the money on it, I'm going to wear it as many times as I want.
So how many costumes do you have in total at the moment?
Wearable, probably about 7 or 8. Not too many. Well, that's quite a few, but.
And how many do you have planned out? Do you have in the process of making more?
I haven't started anything yet. I've got plans for a lot of things, but it's once I buy the fabric and buy 1 or 2 items, that's when it starts happening. But I've got about maybe 4 that are in progress.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now there's a big thing happening about now cosplayers are becoming celebrities in their own right.
Yes.
Which is. Do you think that's a good thing, or is that sort of like eating itself like an Ouroboros going within its own circle?
It's unusual because it's such a new thing. So there's always been people that are famous for being a personality, and I think that's sort of what it is. And with social media, it's kind of a different type of fame. And I don't know. Like, I don't mind it. Honestly, I have a page, so I've got all my photos together, and so people don't add me on my personal Facebook.
Yeah.
Because, don't need that.
Yeah, you can have your own.
I don't know you. But yeah, like, I don't think there's a problem with it. It's just you've got to make sure that everyone's getting the same amount of support. If
Yes,
that makes sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you also run Melbourne Muggles. Would you care to tell us about that?
Yes, so the Melbourne Muggles, we are a monthly meetup group, and we are on Facebook and other social media platforms. And what we do is we get together generally once a month, sometimes more often, and we do events. So we've got some fun events planned this year. We're hoping to do some sort of midnight screening for the Fantastic Beasts movie, and we have something planned for the release of the Cursed Child script book.
I've got my hand up already.
Yeah, we're thinking about doing a script read for that, so that should be a lot of fun. Yep.
And also coming up later this year is the Lloyd one-off show, the 15th birthday of the first Harry Potter film coming out, so you should come to that.
Yes, we'll organise an event. We'll come together as a group.
And what is it about the Harry Potter world that is, still going on? And that's what I want to ask, because JK's moving on to the whole expanding the world to not just be Harry Potter, but bringing in the magical history in North America and all around the world. There's been a bit of controversy with her releases of that. What's been your opinion of that whole controversy and expanding to cover more than just the Harry Potter story?
Look, it was always going to be an issue because J.K. Rowling is very, very knowledgeable on the topic of Celtic and English history and the mythology around that. She has less knowledge of American history, and she's always going to have less knowledge of different countries. So she doesn't have the personal experience with it. She did her best. I understand that there are some flaws there, and I think she probably could have done a little bit more research, but you can't have an expanded universe without calling on reality.
Yeah.
And it's just how you do that in a way that is delicate and respectful.
Yeah, and especially because she released 4 stories, or 4 pieces of writing, and the shortest one was the one dealing with the Native American mythology. So you could clearly see she went a bit, once she got into the 1920s and also the witch trials and stuff like that, she was a bit more confident and developed her own, connected it more with her wizarding world.
Yeah, so you can tell she tried, and I appreciate that she did make an attempt. I just feel like a little bit more research probably could have been done.
I agree.
I still love you, Joe.
We love you too, Joe. Now, one thing I will ask is always, the big push in Australia and all cons is cosplayers not consent, and all these issues about sexual harassment and making sure everyone's respectful.
Yes.
Do you find that the con scene in Australia is very respectful, or is there any type of issues with harassment or any issues like that?
The Melbourne scene is very supportive and very supporting. So we all know that if anything happens, that's not okay, and you can talk to someone about it. And I think it's very good that we've got that community feeling going on here. So if something happens, you do feel like you can talk about it. Yeah. And I know in some cities they don't have that. And so I feel very lucky that we are in a situation like that. So I know that if a photographer, asks me to do something I'm not comfortable with, I can say no. Exactly. And I can also tell my friends don't work with that one. So
awesome. So to finish off, what's your next big plan? Have you got a costume? Can you give us any sneak previews about what your next big costume is going to be, possibly for Oz Comic Con or PAX or even AMC?
I wish I could, but I haven't actually nailed down my plans yet. So unfortunately, you'll just have to wait and see.
So where can people get in touch with you?
So on Facebook, my page is Acid Intimacy. So look up at Acid Intimacy, and then you will know what I'm doing.
Thank you so much, Era. Thank you.
You.
Keep in touch.